Greetings everyone, my name is Lisakhanya Nomandlovu and today I'm with my partner here,
Nomandlovu.
And today we're going to do a podcast based on Dirty Pretty Things movie. Dirty Pretty Things movie is about a man called Okwe who ran away from Nigeria to London because he was accused of killing his wife. Okwe was undocumented in London. So in Nigeria he was a professional doctor, but in London he was a cab driver and a receptionist in the hotel. They all found out that in that hotel he was working in there was prostitutes. So there was a lady there who was called Juliet. Yeah, Juliet told Okwe that her toilet is blocked, and Okwe went to fix the toilet only to find out that there is human heart that blocked that toilet.
The movie Dirty Pretty Things, it was written by Stephanie Knight and directed by Stephen Fries. It was released in 2002, and the protagonist in that movie is Okwe, whose original name is Chiwetel Ejiofor. I think, sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. And Andre Tau as Sinai. Then there is Jelik Seji Lopez as Sneaky, Sophie Okonedo as Juliet, and the last one was Benedict Wong, who his role name was Khoyim. The setting of this movie is in London. And also this movie has a connection between migration, globalization, and exploitation. As this film covers the life of immigrants living in their host country which is London, based in United Kingdom, and it also highlights the experiences of the invisible labor and the exploitation of their bodies, as they were selling their kidneys in order to survive or to get a passport, which connects with the exploitation. Moving to the migration, the protagonist of this movie were immigrants, and they ran from their own countries to London due to their certain reasons, such as Okwe, because he was accused of killing his wife, and also they saw United Kingdom as a glamorous country, not knowing that there are dirty things that are happening there. And also moving to the last connection, which is globalization. Globalization is whereby where migrants were trapped in low-paying jobs, such as Okwe, as he was working as an Uber driver at the same time as a receptionist, somehow as a cleaner at that Baltic hotel, and also Sinai, who was also working as a cleaner at Baltic hotel and also moved to work as a sewer at this clothes factory, and they also had jobs that were exploiting, as Okwe was offered a job as to be a doctor and do operations as taking people's kidneys, not taking as such, but operating people taking out kidneys.
And Sinai was forced by her boss to satisfy his sexual needs, and that showed that her rights was taken from her. Her freedom was taken from him, and also Okwe was forced to join that legal business by his boss, and his boss said if he didn't join that illegal job, he will report him to the
immigration officers.
Yes. So he was forced to join that, and that reveals that his freedom or his rights was taken from him because of he was undocumented.
And also there are themes such as survival, exploitation, and identity that are found in this movie, whereby exploitation, it's when they were exploited their rights, as they were forced to, not forced, but they had to take out their liver, their kidneys in order to, they didn't want to do, but due to certain circumstances, they were forced to do that in order to maintain their families. And also survival, whereby you had to do something that is very dangerous in order to survive, such as giving their kidneys. And also on Okwe, whereby he dragged his employer and did an operation without his consent and sold that kidney to the donors that his boss were selling kidneys to, and they got the money and they got their passport. And also the title here, Dirty Pretty Things, the title is, I think it's diverse, because dirty represented the dirty things that were happening in
the
inside
in
London, and pretty is portrayed as a country
outside,
that is beautiful and pretty,
and stuff.
And invisible labor is shown, whereby Senai was working, but while her hard work was not put in front or not seen by the world. That's how the movie shows the invisible. Moving to the bodily intimacies article by Emily Davis. Emily Davis used it to represent a metaphorical language through borders, globalization, and body. So in this movie, Deliberately Things, they use the character Senai to portray globalization, borders, and body, as she had to sell her kidney and give away her virginity in order to get passport and new identity. And this scene represents body as a site of negotiation, while she works so hard, but her hard work is not seen since she's a migrant. And Emily, on the other hand, on her article, Bodily Intimacies, she portrayed that intimacy is not always about romance, but sometimes it can be violent, as I'll be using the same character, which is Senai, who had to give away her virginity in order to get the papers, and also who had to satisfy her boss, the owner of the theatre that she was working at. And it also shows how people who have no document were treated in London, global capitalism, and it also show how people were treated in London because of they had no documented, and how globalization can impact people's life. Like Okwe and Senai struggled because they were immigrants, and they did invisible work, and Senai wanted to sell her organ because of the struggle that
she wanted the freedom.
She wanted freedom, and that's why
to go out.
And that's why she decided to sell and took away her virginity. On the bodily intimacy article, David stated that through in what different ways each text present bodies of people of color as invisible within it, yet central to it. To the process of global capitalism. Also that these bodies elude the gaze of structures of authority, even as they are continually commodified and also threatened. That with injury producing a significant anxiety on the part of the authorities that seeks them. In other words, this representation foreground the intimacies of globalization, and at the same time that they use a visual media and television media that is frequently present themselves as a transparent, immediate, and intimately present to problematize the way the very idea of intimacy in global exchange. Also, this movie, Dirty Pretty Things, represent organ trade as a newer and a more sinister version of prostitution, as they sell their organs. Yeah. And also in which it commodified one's body for another purpose, may lead to an inevitably to other form of commodification. In its exploration of the invisible people participating in London's black market trade in organs, the film associate a sexualized concern about the boundaries of the body with a concern of immigration and the national body crossing, and remind globalization as a phenomenon concern not only the reorganizing of a nation, but also as a transnational capital, but also a transnational capital which organization of body, but also organization of body themselves.
Oka find a human heart in the while he was in the prostitute's room, and he didn't know that his boss was selling human organs. Yes, and that reveals that moreover, Okwe find out human's heart in the
Prostitute's room.
yeah, and he didn't know that his boss was selling human organs. And that reveals how the parts of the body can be used to global market. Okwe's boss wanting to sleep with a Sinai shows how wealth people use their power over people who are in need.
Taking advantage,
Yeah. This film also shows how people's lives were not valued in London, how people who are desperate for money were treated, how people who had no documents were treated in the economy, and how people who are desperate for money can be dead while they are alive, and how their organs were turned into products for the economy. And lastly, this film shows us as audience that the difficulties of people who had no documents face, and how their lives can turn to invisible because of the piece of paper. Because Okwe was a professional doctor in Nigeria, remember, but because of he didn't have those papers, he was undocumented, but he became nothing in London because of that piece of paper.
Yeah, and
to
sum up what we have stated before, this movie, The Deputy, has a message, as it shows us that it was hard of being an immigrant. It's hard of being an immigrant in another country. And also, Emily Davis shows us that intimacy is not always romantic, as Sinai tried his boss. That showed the violence that intimacy has on the other hand. And also it shows us the struggle that immigrants were facing. And also it shows that you can see things outside, but inside there can be danger, as that they say you can't judge a book by its cover. So something like that.
Yeah, and don't believe what
you see. Yeah. And that's what I'll conclude and say our podcast was. And thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and comment, add some points that we have missed. See you on the next one.